It is my pleasure to present to you Chancellor Suarez Orozco of the University of Massachusetts to have an important discussion on a new concept on how to deal with a critical issue of student debt. Chancellor Suarez Orozco, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, LULAC. Muchas gracias. I'm Marcelo Suarez Orozco. I am the Chancellor of the University of Massachusetts, Boston. I served for a decade as the first Latino dean of UCLA's oldest school, the Graduate School of Education and Information Sciences. It's a pleasure to be with you today. The importance of the issues we're about to cover is existential, especially for the future of our communities, Maria. I'll turn it to you.
In a recent Hill article, Chancellor Suarez Orozco, you co-authored with Robert Hildreth, you emphasized the central role of our public higher education and what it plays in the future and the opportunities, especially for minority communities. However, you expressed concern about the looming danger of student debt. Can you please elaborate?
Yes, Maria, thank you. Terrific question. Public higher education in our country has never been more important than it is today. We are in the age of pandemics. We're in the age of unchecked climate change. We're in the age of demographic transformation. We're in the age when the invasion of racialized inequality into nearly every domain of economy and society is really a threat to the practice of democratic citizenship. Our society today needs more of higher education, not less. Higher education will be of extraordinary importance, especially as we transition the most diverse cohort of young people of color, coming up through the K-12 education system in our country into higher education, into the family of the nation, into our economy, and into the labor market of the 21st century. But here is the problem. On the one hand, we have an extraordinarily successful higher education system. We're educating more, and we're educating more diverse students to higher levels of competence, of excellence, of engagement. But at the same time, we are leaving way too many of our students, especially first generation to college students, especially immigrant origin students, with a student debt that is crushing their dreams. With 1.7 trillion in education loans, over 45 million of our fellow citizens carry a burden that is crushing too many. Above all, as we articulate in op-ed in the Hill, rural, first generation, urban students of color, the fastest growing demographic in our country today. The fear of heavy student debt burden keeps too many students away from aspiring to a degree, to college, the dream that has made their families often come to our country to pursue better opportunities for their children. I just graduated approximately 5,000 students at UMass Boston today. And it's a beautiful, beautiful ritual. And I can see, on the one hand, the ganas, the enormous way in which our students and their families swam against a deep, deep undertow, and the triumph of being able to achieve the dream of a college degree. At the same time, I can see in the eyes the anxiety, the concern. How are we going to pay for the current load of student debt? We need to do better. This is an existential issue, especially in our communities.
Chancellor, policymakers are talking about canceling some student loans. They're talking about tuition-free college. Would that be a solution? Would that assuage your concerns?
So student debt cancellation is an important vehicle. Interestingly, some data suggests that it's a vehicle that reduces racial wealth inequality. However, when you look at the totality of the concerns here, this will not address the basic problem our current students who are borrowing extensively for their degrees will continue to face. Free college proposals are encouraging. There will most likely focus at the community college level, and that's wonderful. I'm a product of the California Master Plan. I came to this country by myself, age 17, with nothing. I went to community college, and then I transferred to the other great public university system in our country, the University of California system. That will most likely work at the community college level. And we know that for millions of our students, really the dream is the pursuit of a degree in higher education. The concern is not only to pay for tuition and fees. The concern is, how do you afford all of the other necessities where you're talking about textbooks, you're talking about computers, you're talking about software, you're talking about internet access. If the pandemic taught us anything, it taught us the additional burden our students face when all of this is added up into the algorithm that goes into the student debt problem in our country today. So even with tuition being free in community colleges, we still have an entire universe, really a galaxy of students that will continue to resort to loans to cover the cost of attendance, especially as they dream towards higher degrees.
Chancellor Suarez Orozco, ¿cuál es la solución? What is the solution?
María, muchas gracias. Una solución posible sería, first, open our eyes wide open and look into a loan-based financial system that is not working. It's not working. It's broken. It's no longer relevant to the realities of higher education in the 21st century. What we need to do is we need to think out of the box. We need to bring innovation on how to finance our higher education system. The University of Massachusetts, Boston, working together with the Hildreth Institute here in the Commonwealth, we're studying, we're testing a new model, an out-of-the-box model, a model that would draw conceptually on the principles of a pension system to lower student debt burden without adding to the national debt. This would reduce, by one model, this would reduce monthly payments to about $50 from the $370 on the average debt load on $35,000, and much, much less on the smaller amounts that community college students typically borrow. This would be accomplished by adopting two of the characteristics of pensions: payments spread over a lifetime and zero interest, which composes about a third of what students must pay today under the current system. Nosotros pensamos que esta idea es una idea que hay que estudiarla y que hay que experimentar. porque el sistema que tenemos hoy en día no funciona. Es un sistema que está creando sangre, sudor y lágrimas en nuestras comunidades. We need to do better. We can do better. It's time to think outside the box, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chancellor Suarez Orozco. We look forward to hearing more and to working with you on solving this problem. Muchas gracias, LULAC. Muchas gracias, Hildreth Institute, for starting this incredibly important conversation. Buenas tardes.
Felicidades.